Anybody else feel the way I do when people try and tell you how to raise your own children? Do you get sensitive like I do? What's up, everybody? My name is CiCi Moya. Welcome back to my channel if you've been here before. If not, please click subscribe and join our beautiful family. This is a spot where we talk about life, where we share mommy tips, daddy tips if you're a father. If you're single, we talk about relationships as well once in a while. But mainly on this channel, what I want to do is help people be their best selves. So if you are a parent, how to be the best parent you can be. If you're a single, independent woman, do your thing, baby girl. And I'm here to motivate you and to have your back. And we're on a journey together into just being, again, our utmost best self. Before we get into the subject of today, the matter at hand, I wanted to briefly give you a bit of background because I know that I'm a little bit all over the place on this channel. I haven't quite, I would say, figured out what my niche is. And when I say niche, not that I want to put myself in a box, not that I want to be categorized and you know, be told that this is what I'm good at and this is what I need to stick to, because in principle, I know that I have several talents and that I don't want to fit the mold. I don't want to be called just the one thing. You know, I do have an acting background. I studied in New York City for 2 years in acting school. I have a bachelor's degree in psychology. I have a postgraduate diploma in journalism. And your girl has some comedy background. You know, I've done a few videos that have gone semi-viral on the internet. And, you know, and I'm a mom and I love natural remedies and I have a child with sickle cell disease. So, you know, like there's a lot of topics that I could dabble into and, but an expert at some things, I think I am. I mean, I also do hair and I do makeup and beauty, and you guys know, you guys have seen some of my tutorials here on YouTube. So, you know, your girl's kind of all over the place when it comes to niches, you know, so I don't really fit in one particularly 100%. Like I really touch on everything. So if you guys have any recommendations about finding my niche or finding something that I can put all my eggs in that basket and kind of call myself the expert in that field, then let me know. You know, if you've been watching me for a while and you feel like, you know, CiCi, this is your thing, you need to, you know, put all your eggs in that basket, then let me know and I'll definitely consider your suggestions. But speaking of suggestions, I feel like the topic of this video, when people want to suggest how to raise your children, I do get sensitive. And I want to know if you are a parent, if you feel the same way too. And I say that because maybe there's a rebellious, kind of prideful mama bear defense mechanism that kind of rises when someone tries to tell me, you know, what you're doing isn't right with your child. Because I'm like, how dare you? She mine. Like, and I think it's healthy in a way because I'm protecting her and I'm protecting us, but I do want to be open to learning and of course improving myself. I'm not 100%, you know, the best mom without fault whatsoever. Like I know that, but I definitely do my darn best. And to be told, you know, what you're doing is, I don't know, you need to do it better. It's kind of like, first of all, you are not raising that child with me. Second of all, you don't know what I've been through with this child so far already. So like, how do you feel entitled to do that? And it doesn't come from a, you know, a spiteful place when I say this, but yeah, let me know if you have that kind of like, you know, that kind of reaction when someone critiques your parenting. Specifically when it comes to like discipline or yeah, just discipline and the way that I react or not to misbehavior. And I go like this because I'll break down what my parenting style is like, okay? So for me, earlier on, I decided, okay, this child, she's a young girl. She will not have her father in her life full time. Maybe until she decides to when she's older, but for now, it's not going to be happening. We're not together. So I already had to think about wearing two hats and and being a role model from the perspective of a mother, but at the same time trying to somehow make up for the lack of a father figure. And I quickly realized that I needed to research, how to do that and do it in a way that is healthy, in a way that will cause the least amount of damage that she'll have to heal from later on in life, and maximize her potential as a leader in the future, as a strong Black woman, right? And with all the aptitude, skills, and just wisdom that she'll need to be a great citizen of the world. No pressure at all. But in order to do that, again, I did some research. I looked into psychologists who talked on that subject. I really like Jordan Peterson. If anybody out there is interested in what I've looked into, Jordan Peterson is a great psychologist and also a teacher. And he blew up on YouTube as well, which is very interesting. And he didn't mean to, but he did. And now he has a book. And all to say, Jordan Peterson taught me a lot in terms of how to raise my child in a way that society will welcome her. And there's other books as well. I've read articles. I haven't necessarily bought physical books, but I've read a few articles as well on positive reinforcement and encouragement, and just teaching your child to do certain things without using like a scare tactic. And I think I grew up in a Caribbean family, Haitian family, and I think the mentality of our culture is that the mentality in the Haitian culture is that you kind of have to scare children into obedience, right? You got to scare them in order to have them listen to you and not do what you don't want them to do, or do whatever you want them to do. So just really living out of fear, and as an adult, I'm doing my best to unlearn, these bad tactics and try to not live by fear. The choices you make in life are either based on fear or love. If you train a child from the get-go to live a life that's based on fear, you're setting them up for failure. I'm not down with that. So I don't want that for my child. So essentially, I recently got comments from two different people, males, single males, about how, and those are people close to me, no shade, but it really made me realize that I don't think others kind of really understand what comes with motherhood. When you have a child not only come out of you, but you raise them from the moment they come out of you and up to now, and every step of the way you have monitored that child. You've watched their development. You've covered them, spiritually, physically, and mentally. And to be told or to be critiqued on how you're either disciplining them or not disciplining them is difficult to swallow when they haven't been there all along. They haven't been in the gym shooting. They haven't seen the late nights and the research that a parent does to do their best So is it about receiving positive criticism? It could be. And that's why this is an open discussion. I'm not saying that I'm 100% right to feel the way I do. I mean, it's okay to feel how I feel. But I do want to know how you guys, perhaps the parents watching this, how you guys process that. How do you process critique when someone wants to add their piece to what you're doing as a parenting job? Yeah, and let's help each other with that. But essentially, especially males, single males, telling me how to raise a girl, to me right away, you're biased. It's like, not only do you have a different perspective because she's a girl, and I'm coming in as an independent woman who's had to unlearn, you know, very bad concepts of reality, how to talk to a boss, how to talk to adults, how to behave around, you know, Christians, and how to act a certain way. It's like I've had to reprogram my mind to learn to be assertive, to learn to ask for what I want, to say no to what I don't want, to be able to lead without having to raise my voice, to be able to manage others without having to be a disciplinarian, how to negotiate, like skills of life that I feel I didn't learn as a child. And God bless my parents, they did their best, but they didn't know any better. So for me, I want to work with the good that they've done and just take it further and get rid of all the bad, right? And do my best not to carry that with me. So, and do better. So yeah, I feel like for women, raising women especially nowadays, is a different concept. I've read some of Michelle Obama's book, some pages. I haven't finished it completely, but I just loved how she talked about how her parents raised her, you know, to be a leader. She was allowed to speak her mind. She was allowed to say when she didn't like something. You know, it was okay to share your dislike. It's not rude to say you don't like something or you prefer something over another. It's okay to learn to negotiate as a child, you know, to be told, hey, would you like this versus that? You have two options. You keep a certain boundary, right? But you give your child the freedom to express themselves and to explore within that boundary. You get them thinking critically, you know, why would I want this cookie versus this other snack, you know, and instead of just being like, what do you want to eat? That's a random example, but it's just giving you the idea that this is how I choose to raise Ruby. Is I want her to negotiate. I want her to say, you know, mommy, I'm going to have cookies and then I'm going to go to bed. As opposed to like, go to bed, period. You got nothing to say. Unless it's dangerous, unless it's life or death situation, unless, you know what I mean, her life is at risk, I will negotiate with her. I want her to learn to do that, because later on when she gets a job, or if she wants to throw herself into, you know, entrepreneurship and she has to negotiate a contract, I want her to have had all the practice in the world since she was a child to know how to talk to people and not feel like she has to be afraid to open her mouth. And I'm glad to report that it's been working wonderfully. And I don't think my daughter is rude. I don't think that she's impolite. Matter of fact, she's extremely affectionate and very sensitive. And so I would like to say that I'm doing a good job. Now, someone who's not familiar with my goals to raise her as a leader, and especially as a strong woman, they might see me giving her options and being like, whoa, like you're treating her like an adult, or you're giving her too many options. Why don't you just tell her to do that and period, and that's it? No, I don't operate that way. I don't want to just tell her to do something and it's period, full stop, and you ain't got no word in it. I do want her to know her place, in the sense that I'm the adult, and yes, I do know better because I've seen better, and because I'm the one raising you, and you're my responsibility. However, I do want to hear your feelings. I do want to understand why you prefer one thing over another, and I want you to be able to have the language to express it, right? So I don't have tolerance for rudeness, and I don't have tolerance for, you know, tantrums that last hours and hours on end. That I'm not the one. I'm not the one. I can put my foot down, that's for sure. And she knows her limit. She has learned her limit. Sorry, I'm playing with my mic. But essentially, yeah. What I think this is opening up a can of worms, maybe. But I would love to know what you guys do with your parenting and how you feel. How much do you feel that people are allowed to add their 2 cents to what you're doing with your child, with your children? Let me know. I'll see you guys next time. Stand tall in life and in love.